Hi everybody! Roar! Creature and Tracks! Back with another video today, and today I am gonna be doing a review of one of my favorite anime growing up. It is known as Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game you play? Huh. Didn't know it was an anime. Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, it is one of the greatest card games you will ever play. And in the anime, it starts with a story of monsters and magic being a whole other thing. Real magic and monsters in ancient Egypt. Egyptian kings would use these spells and monsters to battle in these shadow games until one pharaoh locked all that magic away into 7 items, millennium items. And for 5,000 years, the shadow games have never plagued the world. And then, after 5,000 years, a boy named Yugi found the Millennium, finished completing the Millennium Puzzle, and now his body has 2 souls. His soul and the soul of the legendary pharaoh who saved the world. Yeah. And now, the Shadow Games have come back. Yeah. And that whole thing, the monsters, the magic, all of that has been been put on Egyptian hieroglyphs, all in tombs, all over Egypt. And then one man, Maximilian Pegasus, he created the world's most popular card game using the magic and monsters. Yeah, and then he called it Duel Monsters. Yeah, it's a different name than what it's called now. But it is incredible. This show, it's incredible. The monsters are like, there are magicians and dragons and machines, which is weird, but still. And there are demons and dinosaurs. Dinosaurs? Cool. Yeah. And, there are like a whole bunch of adventures in this whole entire thing. It is like incredible how much there is. And Yugi has his best friends, Joey Wheeler, Taya Gardner, and Tristan Taylor. Yeah, and then there's also Yugi's biggest rival, Seto Kaiba. And he has the most legendary dragons in the world. 3 blue eyes white dragons. And there are lots of different kinds of things with these monsters. In this series, there's a lot more than just summoning a lot of powerful monsters. You have to strategize on how to use them properly. And these Millennium items, they are no joke. I mean, Pegasus even has one called the Millennium Eye. And then there's the Millennium Scale, Millennium Key, Millennium Rod, Millennium Necklace, and the Millennium Ring. Yeah, and each one has their own special power. Yeah. I mean, this whole series is like non-stop action, magic, and monsters, and almost completely villains trying to rule the world. Yeah. And then there's also Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, which takes place years later, and the new main character is Jaden Yuki. He wants to be like Yugi. Well, Yugi has the title of King of Games, and Jaden's dream is to actually become the next King of Games. Really? That's a thing? Well, yeah. And then there's also, well, this is when they start adding archetypes into the whole Yu-Gi-Oh thing. Archetypes? Yeah. It's kind of like when there's one specific deck of cards that all work together in a single play style. Oh. Really? Yeah, well, like the whole Blue Eyes White Dragon archetype. There are many other cards that match well with the Blue Eyes White Dragons. Ah! And you can have a whole entire deck of the... You can have a 60 card deck. And you have to... Each player starts with a total of 8,000 life points. You may think 8,000 is a lot, but it's actually... If you have the right strategy, you can wipe out all of your opponent's life points in one turn. Yeah. And Jaden wants to become the King of Games, and there's only one place to do it. At the Duel Monsters Duel Academy. And that is where he wants to go. In order to... Yeah. They have academies for dueling where teenagers go to high school in, where they learn how to make better decks, learn about how to do other stuff, and, well, where they want to be a pro duelist or even a card designer working for Industrial Illusions. That's the company that Maximilian Pegasus owns. Yeah. And we also have different summoning methods. Summoning methods? Yeah, in order to summon powerful monsters. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, it introduces us to fusion monsters, where you need a specific spell in order to fuse monsters together. It's called polymerization. That's the basis of all fusion summoning. Ah, cool. Yeah. And then there are ritual monsters, which ritual monsters have their own specific ritual spell, and you need to sacrifice monsters whose total levels match up to the ritual monster's level. Yeah, it's kind of difficult at first, but once you learn how to do it, you can master it. And with fusion summoning, you need specific monsters in order to fuse together in order to summon a fusion monster. Ah. So, what kind of monsters does Yugi have? Well, that depends. He has a deck of a whole bunch of different monsters, but his main ace monster is Dark Magician. Cool. A master of mystic arts, I assume? Yeah. And for Jaden, he's got a whole deck of superheroes called elemental heroes. Cool. Yeah. And there are a whole bunch of different... and in GX, that's when we start seeing more ritual monsters, more fusion monsters. I mean, Jaden's deck is basically a fusion monster smorgasbord. Elemental heroes do a lot of fusion summoning. Yeah, and Jaden does his own way of, like, it's awesome how many different archetypes get introduced into the GX part of Yu-Gi-Oh! He fights evil villains to save the world, and there are lots of other things. Well, in instances with the Shadow games with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, the Shadow games, if someone loses a duel, they end up losing their soul. Their soul? Yeah, and the damage you take, it's real. Like, the attacks are real. That's pretty dangerous. Yeah, and you can't actually quit out of it. It's like, whoo! It's like really, really bad. Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, whoo! And then we have Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which takes place even further into the future, where there are dueling has evolved into a new way, where duelists ride on special motorcycles called duel runners. They can duel on motorcycles? Duel runners, actually. They're called duel runners. And there's another new summoning method introduced called synchro summoning. Synchro, huh? Cool. Yeah, synchro monsters are no joke. In order to summon a synchro monster, you need a specific monster called a tuner monster. And then you have to have, tuner monsters combined with other monsters to form synchro monsters. And yet, in order to summon a specific synchro monster, you have to combine the tuner's level with the levels of one or more monsters. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, and the turbo dueling is, like, amazing. It is like, whoo-wee. It's like high speed and the wind in your face and the speed. It's incredible. And our main character for this series is Yusei Fudo. And, oh man, his adventure, it's like incredible. He lives in the slums of the Satellite Sector, an island that's off the coast, like a few hundred miles away, like 100 miles away from the mainland, from New Domino City, and he wants to go there so he can get back his ace card from his once former friend Jack Atlas. Yeah, but all that was changed, right? Yeah, during that duel, Yusei and Jack were actually chosen by an entity called the Crimson Dragon, being marked with special marks called, the marks of the Crimson Dragon, and being chosen as signers. 5 duelists that would help the Crimson Dragon fight off the forces of evil. Yeah, and each one of these duelists has a special dragon. For Yusei, his ace monster is Stardust Dragon. Jack Atlas, his ace dragon is Red Dragon Archfiend. There's also the Black Rose Dragon, the Ancient Fairy Dragon, and the Lifestream Dragon. But Lifestream isn't introduced, so there's another dragon out there too. Oh, so it's all about dragons and stuff, huh? Yeah. Oh man, this whole series is like amazing. You have to check it out. And then we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, which is a little bit different. Our main character is named Yuma Tsukumo, and he's basically kind of a klutz and pretty much the worst duelist you would ever meet. I mean, he stinks. Really? He stinks that bad? Yeah, he has never won a single duel. Oh, man. And in Zexal, we have another new summoning method called Xyz. Xyz? How do you summon an Xyz monster? Well, you have to have 2 or more monsters with the same level on the field in order to summon an Xyz monster. Huh. Yeah, but Yuma's adventure is all about finding the 100 number cards. Number cards? What are those? The number cards are special Xyz monsters. Yeah, sometimes they can even corrupt someone's mind, turning them into a... Wow. Like, weird. Like, making them change their personality and making them evil or somewhat. Whoa. Yeah, and you can tell because that number will appear as a mark on someone's body, like on their arm or their face. It's really incredible. And during a number duel, the whole damage thing becomes real. Oh man, again? Yeah. And Yuma's special ace is number 39, Utopia, which is like an awesome warrior monster. Cool. Yeah. And he is teamed up with an alien being called Astral to help find the number cards, because the number cards are part of his memories. Huh. So there are 100 number cards? This is going to take a while. Yeah. Yeah, it will. Because it's not going to be easy. But Astral is more of a dueling expert than Yuma, so the whole thing will go by way smoothly. And there are a whole bunch of other stuff too. You have to check out this entire series. Please do. And then we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Sheesh. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, our newest and main character is Yuya Sakaki. And in this particular new thing, dueling has evolved to a point where there's a special dueling system called the Augmented Reality Combat System, or ARC system. So what's so special about that? It makes the monster holograms that come from their dual discs, well, I forgot to mention, the dual disc is the specific tool for duelists that allows them to duel in any kind of setting. But with an arc system, it makes the holograms of the monsters actually be able to be real. Real monsters? Yeah. It's incredible. You can ride on them, touch them. It's incredible. It's almost like they're actually alive. Yeah, and Yuya, he wants to be a dual tainer. The greatest dual tainer in the world. Dual tainers, they're like acrobats, or like they add wonders and everything. And during an action duel, they add a very special type of like augmented reality, like some kind of holographic card that's part of the game called an action spell that can be used to give an advantage to yourself and do stuff to your opponent. Like, they can help you defend, attack. It's pretty impressive. Cool. Oh, and another new summoning method comes into play. Another one? Sheesh. And Yuya discovers it. It's called Pendulum. Pendulum? How does that work? Well, you see, you have to have two cards called a pendulum card. Two pendulum cards, which are like monsters with a specific scale number. You put them on two different sides of your dual disc, and then whatever number are on those pendulum cards, like 1 and 8, you could summon that many monsters from your hand that have levels between those two scales. So it's possible to summon a lot of monsters in one turn? Even lots of powerful ones, too. Cool. Yeah. It's incredible how many other stuff is in this series. I mean, there's a lot of laughs, a lot of action, there's drama, comedy, romance. Yeah, there is that. And a lot of... you will not believe what kind of stuff is in this. And then we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. Vrains? What does that mean? Vrains stands for Virtual Reality Artificial Intelligence Network System. And in that one, the dual disc is become like into an app watch. An app kind of thing. An Apple Watch dual disc? Huh. Yeah, where they can generate holograms of their cards without even having to like hold them in your hand. You can just put them on display right in front of you. Huh. Saves the time, really. Yeah. And we also get another new summoning method called Link Summoning. Link Summoning? Oh man, is this the last one? Yeah, this is the last summoning method that gets introduced into the... Oh, I forgot to mention, Xyz monsters, they don't have levels like all the other monsters. They have ranks. Ranks. Huh, that's pretty different. Yeah, so they're not affected by spells or traps that are like, specific on levels so they're unaffected by that. Huh. But Link monsters, those are different. They don't have levels, and they cannot be switched into defense mode. Huh. Wait, defense mode? Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention. Monsters can either be put into attack mode or defense mode. Depending on which mode, that's where they're put at their strongest. Link monsters can't be in defense mode, and they have no defense points, so they're basically in attack mode always. Huh. Yeah. And Link monsters can be summoned by using 1 or 2 or more monsters. Very specific kinds of monsters in order to Link summon them. And then they get put into a new monster zone called the Extra Monster Zone at first, and they have Link arrows, which is how their abilities work. Huh. Yeah. And our duelist's main character, this character's main character is Yusaku Fujiki. But in Link Vrains, which is kind of like a cyber world, kind of like what you would do for a computer game, he has a gamer ID called Playmaker. Cool. Playmaker. So he kind of has like a secret identity kind of thing. But it is amazing. This entire series is like amazing. You have to check it out for yourselves. And you can also go to lots of Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments and a lot of card shops around here in Vegas if you want to play. Well, there's a card shop I go to called the People's Card Shop. It is a great place to hang out, learn how to play lots of different card games, and make friends, meet new people, and just have a really good time. Well, I think that's going to be it for today. Yeah, thank you for telling me this whole thing. Yeah, and let me tell you something. This series is amazing. You have to check it out for yourselves, and you will love the duels that take place, the characters, everything about it. So that's going to be it for today. This is Creature and Tricks telling you have a lovely time. Don't forget to like our videos, comment what you think, share it with your friends. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe right away. Well, bye. Roar!